everyone. My name is Chubby.
And I'm Vanessa, and welcome to No Filters, No Fears podcast.
Last.
Yay!
Today's level elephant is a level 4. And today it's Memory Monday. We brought it back. Well, it was never gone. It's always there. But it's Memory Monday milestones. As you heard in the beginning, it was about I don't know, anything in reality. Milestones.
No,
So,
we've chosen different types of milestones because there's different types. So there's,
yes.
personal milestones, there's developmental milestones for kids, for adults, for
Scientific.
education, historical milestones. So we compiled each a list of 10. We'll see what happens. But of course, where do we begin? Definition.
I was like, does she know? Does she know? Yes,
Of
definition.
course, I know the definition. Jen.
A significant event or stage in the life, progress, development, or the like of a person, nation, etc. I mean, it's a very simple definition. We all know what a milestone is. We all have them personally as well, so it's okay. Whoever's watching, you could also, share
Yes.
your own. We would like
Yeah.
to hear.
Milestones that you think are important or have
Yes.
been important to you. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm very excited. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll start first, I guess. So
Okay.
one of the milestones that I have, when gay marriage became legal in all 50 states in June 2015.
I have Stonewall on mine. I'm not even going to say we're not saying it in order, but if I see something that's correlates.
Okay.
So
And
do you have Stonewall as a separate one?
Stonewall makes 52 years today.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That is crazy. That is a milestone and a half. I'm glad that this is the first one we bring up because I have something to say.
Say it.
I really, really invite people that don't know what Pride is about to look it up. Know your history, and that applies to gay, straight, bi, whatever. It applies to everyone, because all history is all of our history. And I feel like sometimes even people from the community forget where certain things come from and what it means, and then start holding their own prejudice and judgment against things that they don't understand or may not be where it started. But Pride was born of a need for equality, right? And to not feel shunned by society for being who you are and loving who you wanted to love. That being said, I remind everyone, and we'll throw it back to our Stonewall episode, the people who started the movement and the riots were transgender women, okay? Drag queens. And I can't remember his name now or their name now, but, a drag king that was well known and happy and loud. So and they faced from their own community a lot of backlash, and were not accepted and got crap from the gay community because they were too feminine or too whatever. That's nonsense. That's what was being done to you, and you're going to do it to your own community. Don't do that. Que feo.
And that's the thing that I don't think they understand. It's like, why are you doing the same thing? Like, if you don't understand it, learn about it, but don't, make a joke about it or.
And it's a great time, and everybody, I love the parades, and I love la pachanga and la rumba, and let's have a drink, let's do a thing, all about it. But remember what it really is about. It's like when we are just taking, certain holidays to just get crunk and forget what the holiday is about. Right? So it's the same thing. And the more time passes, the more it gets associated with just how big can you party and how many corporations can say that they support it to make a bigger buck, versus actual remembrance and tribute and appreciation. And now that new things are coming up or being given a name, they're identifiers, they're, you
Right.
know, the more sense of community being built, it's like now they have something new to uh, be prejudiced towards within their own community. No,
Yeah.
no. So that's my piece on that.
Yeah, there's a
It's
back,
almost the end of June, so I had to say what I had to say.
but there's a backstory to this.
Yes.
Also, that's why we're over here like not saying much to what actually needs to be said. But if you want to know, go to my page on my Instagram. I have a post. You could go read about it if you care. But anyway, yeah. Just giving you something because everybody's probably like, okay, that sounded so vague in so many
That
ways.
was so cryptic.
Yeah,
But
but
there was the purpose. You know what?
you want me to name another one or you want to name another one?
You name another one.
Okay. So to me, this one was important as a person because in 1983, Sally Ride became first American woman in space.
What? Yeah, that's cool.
Yes, I
That
don't know.
was huge.
I just feel like like a little girl watching this woman going into space, and you know how other jobs then were like only male oriented, and it's like only men can do that, and only men can. Watching a woman, going up there, and then you're like 5 years old, and you're like, oh my god, like
Super inspiring.
right, and you're like, I want to do that. I want to be her when I grow up. Like the sky's the limit,
Absolutely.
literally. Like you could be whatever you want and I don't know, I like
But
that.
how many jobs, right, exist out there that still, like you say, oh, because my doctor, and people automatically assume he,
Right.
right? Again, listen, Lindas, and we're not saying like caca to the guys. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it is the reality.
Right.
It is the reality of what has been history. Women did not have positions in these kind of situations and were not represented. And little by little, it started to be real, and we were represented. And so now, you say certain positions, female-owned businesses account for billions of dollars in the corporate market. Women owned, women run businesses. Suck on that one.
That on its own is a milestone when women couldn't even own property, couldn't even have anything under their name, not even a freaking bank account, not even sell candles in the 1800s. So listen, it's come a long way. Hence,
It's come a definite long way. I mean, now, and it's sad. We're at 2021 and we still have the issue of like men are still being paid more than some women. But now we're seeing that shift where it's like now some women are being paid more than men, and now men are feeling hurt. But now they know what it feels like. Um, but definitely it's awesome to see, who was the other day, they named the first like female coach or female owner or something like that for a basketball team. Am I making this up? Somebody out there tell me. But I read that and I got so excited. I was like, hell yeah.
no,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
you're talking about. I briefly saw it, but yeah, this with the women's NBA. Yeah.
Okay. So it was like, that's phenomenal, right? And now we see like in soccer, um, you would mainly hear about, the US team all the time. Now you hear about all of the teams. You hear about all the players being represented. And the women's soccer teams are freaking Baraslandia, right? So to see female representation out there and it being in a kick-ass way, I'm about that.
And mind you, we're not saying that we're, disregarding the men and their goodness of what they've done and contributing to
No,
society that actually has helped everyone, but
Yeah.
Women are being
And,
celebrated because they had to fight in order for them to even get a name out there.
and I mean, if we're really on, it takes a village. It takes a village of
Yes.
women. It also took a village of men with vision that knew better, that knew that women did not deserve to be
Ex-
seen as less than or treated as less than or paid less than. It took those men to step up and because they had the clout and the authority to say something,
Right.
right? And I hope it sounds familiar in the sense of like, everything that's happening now when it comes to, race and xenophobia and things like that, of being able when you have a position of privilege to stand up and help,
Ex-
right? So
yeah.
so remember, mine are, I'll say my historical ones first, so that way I don't, because I feel like I'm gonna deviate to like
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
normal town. Well, my one historical one that is exciting for me is um on August 8th of 2009, Sonia Sotomayor was the first Hispanic woman elected to Supreme Court justice, and she was the third woman ever and first Hispanic. So that
Ooh.
is Baraslandia, right? Not only to be represented, to have, you know, a Hispanic person represented in such a high court, but that is a woman. That's a double whammy.
Yes, it is.
And she's
Remember,
the best.
if you're watching, you could share your milestones in your life. It could be personal, it could be work related. I don't know. Just share. Oh, this one, which you know how I am. This one's really important to me. Um,
Okay.
the 19th Amendment became law in 1920. And what is that? Women's rights to vote.
I feel like I can go back on almost every episode of No Filters, No Fears and find at least one comment about women's right to vote.
I'm sorry, but listen,
Y'all, even if it's for Chuvy's sake, go and vote.
and mind you, it didn't even start in 1920. It started like way before that. And it didn't even get passed until then. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna work so freaking hard for something, don't let it go to waste. Like do something, use it. Because they did fight for women to have the right to vote for a reason.
Mhm.
It's important. Anyway, your your turn.
Okay, so this is also another historical one. I do not have an official date,
Yeah, that's fine.
but I know it was a milestone. Because when I heard about this, I was horrified because I didn't know about it until a couple of years ago, funny enough. Um, I learn a lot when I do plays, and I'm glad I do because this actually pertains to my culture, my history. And it was when they stopped allowing and they stopped putting up signs in Miami Beach that said, no shirt, no shoes, no Cubans, no blacks, no Cubans. There were actually signs on doors that and windows
Unbelievable.
that did not, you know, so it was, and no shirts. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, you're going to, nice place. No shoes. Okay, why not? Okay, shoes. No dogs. Okay, personal preference. But to include human beings in a list
Right.
like that, um, and very specific. No Cubans. And it was like that for years. And it's really difficult because so who was working in those hotels?
Right, 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 exactly.
The people working in the hotels. So if you happen to not need to work in those hotels or wanted to do a vacation and had been saving up, you wouldn't have been able to. And when I learned about that, I thought it was so absurd because it's also I see so many um of my Cuban peoples being so prejudiced, being so racist. It feels like how I don't I it really is, and I'm not being facetious, I'm not trying to be a dick, but it really is beyond me when people who should understand respond with the same. right? And we all know that it's a choice. There's choices. Like we've talked about it, like with when someone suffers uh, a trauma, that you have the choice of like to become to say the victim, to push for to be the survivor, and it takes time and it takes a choice. But this particular thing of like knowing what it feels like to be have racism at you, prejudice, and then to do it to somebody else, que mierda.
Yeah, I'm never gonna understand that either. It's just I don't understand.
If that weren't the case, and it would just create, the power in numbers bit. I understand. You understand. We understand. Let's go stop some shit.
Right.
But no, it's like, oh, well, because this one thing, right? Identifiers. And what is it? This one thing is different. It doesn't apply to me. I no me voy a meter.
Right.
I'm not going to go there. It's not my problem until it's your problem.
¿Y ahora quién? Mm-hmm.
And then nobody wants to help you. And then it's like, oh, nobody helps me. Boo. I will you.
No, I mean basically it's just we all need each other in some way or another, and you're gonna learn the tough way when you're by yourself. So,
Yep.
but I can't even believe that actually existed. I mean, there's a bunch of crap that existed throughout time, but over here it's like sometimes you wonder, like, wow, you know?
And it's not that it affected me any less, but it obviously, and we're human, it hits you different and it resonates with you differently when it really is in close relation to you, right? So it hurt, it sucked, and I understood the gravity and the value of like how could people say white's fountain, black fountain, and during segregation have this like bathrooms and like back of the bus, that kind of shit, right? It was already absurd to begin with, but then you're like, oh, that that was that mentality, and like, okay, we're coming up, but to think you're like, oh, but if the excuse was the skin color, what was wrong with Cubans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like the problem is just difference.
Yeah.
It's just difference, and the fear of thinking, what happens when these new people are coming into our turf? What's going to
Right.
happen to our jobs, right? That mentality of like having to push immigrants away because, oh, they're going to take our jobs. You don't want to have the jobs that they're willing to do. And they're doing it for the right reasons,
Right. Exactly.
right? For their families, to build a better life for themselves, for their families. And the judgment and the critique is harsh. So it was a shitty thing
Yeah.
to
No.
learn about. I did two,
Yeah, I did three.
You did three? Okay. Well, I did three technically because I said Stonewall
Yeah. Yeah.
during your.
That's the second one. Yeah. So we're okay.
Okay, so do another one.
Okay. So Maureen Turner, Oklahoma's first non-binary Muslim legislator.
Whoa.
Last year, or I don't. It's recent. Like open
Yeah.
non-binary out Muslim legislator. Yep. I was like, you said, huh?
I mean,
They
it says for everything that people complain that there's no change, there's no this. Yes, it's slow and it's sad that it has to be so slow, that it has been so slow. I mean, that's big.
Yeah, I
And
saw
it's a
that.
testament. It's a testament to us going in the right direction
Yes,
of
baby
acceptance.
steps still lead you forward. Chew
Shoot me with the
politics.
politics facts.
I have some, not all the time. But yeah, I was really excited about that when I heard that and I saw that I could not. I was like ecstatic. I was like, because this one it teaches you or shows you that it doesn't matter who you are, that you could still get a job in this
The
time.
merit of your work, of your knowledge, of
Exactly. And that's what matters, you know. But and they're Muslim too at that, with being the non-binary, and it's like you see there's no limit, like there's nothing stopping you.
so this is not going to be a political one.
No, yeah, that's fine.
This is gonna be a life one. So, first job, the first job that anybody gets, that is a milestone and a half. It's like your first like brush with independence and like doing for yourself and learning new skills and connecting with people in a professional environment versus just like, hey, let's hang out and be buddies, like working. And I don't know, when I got my first job, I felt a real sense of accomplishment. I felt proud. What was your first job?
I was thinking about it. I was in college, I think, working at this photography place at the time at Bayside, Miami, in Miami-Dade, in front of Miami-Dade College. And I failed miserably. I failed. I just quit, said fuck it, and I left.
Really? What was it about it that was just like, nope?
It wasn't me. I didn't like, I don't, no, no.
I'm trying to remember what my first job
And I
was.
promised myself I'm never gonna work on no fast food places or no fast food restaurants or any of the food industry at all.
I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like before I had this job, I'd babysat before and I'd done things like that, but like in an actual with a company, like with an actual
Mm, yeah.
in an actual place, my I feel like yeah, this I think this really was my first job. I worked at Oiko Moyer,
What is that?
which is this club on 8th Street,
Mm,
um, that played live Cuban music, and it was where I fell in love with live music, and also where I learned so much about my culture, the music, the people, um, and it afforded me the opportunity to not just speak English at work, but to speak Spanish. And it was an awesome job. I was a hostess. I got paid really well for being as young as I was. I worked insane hours though. Like the hours were
yeah.
nutty because nightclub. But I learned so much, and I got to sing there a couple of times. So like it also fed
Yeah.
my artistic bug. That was my first job.
It was all in between.
One of my favorites because I had some other jobs that were like
Yeah.
gaga. um, how do you guys feel about first jobs? Is that a milestone for you? Is that just like it happened? Um, okay, your turn. Okay. Hi. That moment when you're left in charge. I guess I'll just go ahead with one of mine. And when Chubi rejoins us, I will let. Oh, okay. I'm excited. Let me put this. Let's put that up there. Brian shared with us, my first job was a milestone for me in that I met a group of people who became my closest friends. I started my first band due to working there, and I had a memorable romantic relationship there. Whoa, that was a heck of a job. That is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we really learn so much from that first opportunity. It's the first time being pushed out there to be an adult, to be on your own and how you do those things. Um, so I'm I totally consider that a milestone, and I love yours, Brian. Like you were knocking them out the ballpark. Another one that I have on here, birthdays for me is like a big deal. I know for a lot of people, depending on what's happening in their life, all of a sudden like the birthday becomes like the no. It could be either because you're getting older and you don't want to deal. It could be because you're going through a really rough time in your life and like celebrating your birthday seems more of a chore than um than a celebratory moment. But I'm big on birthdays. How do you guys feel about birthdays? Is birthdays your thing? Are you like, whatever birthdays? Birthdays for me are huge. When I was a kid growing up, I was very spoiled because my birthday got celebrated in Miami, in DR, and my birthday is my favorite. It's like my own holiday. Yeah, totally. And my mom also celebrates her birthday the full month. Not like celebrating your own birthday. because I I get that from a lot of people, and especially like when difficult stuff is going on. I know a lot of my friends have expressed I really don't feel like celebrating or whatever, but then they get a surprise party and they're like, "Oh, I'm so happy," and I'm like, "Ah, you did want to celebrate." That's a funky thing. I feel like it's such a personal thing because sometimes when people do birthdays for us, it ends up being more about them and how they want to celebrate it for us versus something we may actually like. Sometimes. So, oh no, celebrate me all day. I feel like birthdays are awesome because it doesn't matter how difficult life is at that moment during that time, you're celebrating that you came into this life and to have this family